Already there. Yeah. Uh, So good evening. So today is Wednesday, September 13th, 2023, and we'll be starting our Akron Public Arts Commission meeting now. So again, I stated that our chair, Eric Reynolds, said he will try to jump on, but not sure. He had some work things come up, and Larissa Brown is not able to attend either to take over the chair role. So I can do it, or John, if you want to do it, but it's totally fine.
Actually, Summer, you can't do it.
Okay.
So I guess who is our, do we have a vice chair? We don't have a vice chair, do we?
That's Larissa.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I can do it. That's fine.
Okay.
And let me just pull up the right screens here.
Oh, hey, Katie, I'm sorry. I didn't see you right there. While you're looking for it, I will introduce our new intern,
Yep.
Andy Hiller. He is a student at the University of Akron, majoring in IT. You want to say anything? No, I pretty much said it all. I'm sorry. So he will be taking the minutes for our meetings. He will be with us until next year. So we're lucky to have him. Very talented person.
Summer, can you send me the agenda again?
Sure.
I'm not seeing it and I don't know why.
Okay.
I thought you just sent something this morning. Great, thank you. All right. So we do need approval of the minutes from August 9th. Can I have a motion?
The minutes that were sent out were from 2022.
Oh,
So that was the minutes were sent out last month, like a couple days after our meeting. The agenda that I sent out the other day, well, was it yesterday, was 2022, but I corrected and resent the new agenda.
I guess I'm just not seeing the other minutes.
I'll re-forward it to you guys if you need it. Yeah, that was
Just to
my
get it going.
mistake.
I'll motion to approve the minutes.
thank you, Andy. Can I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Katie. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for all in favor. Say aye.
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 Andy, good. Jessica's okay. Great. Any nays? Hearing none, the motion passes. Okay, updates. We're going to go to old business. Looks like updates on the Glendale Avenue mural. Who is providing that update, Summer?
I can provide the update.
Yep, fine.
Just want to give you guys all a heads up that all the brush and all the from the original pictures, all the grass has been pulled up from the sidewalk, and the leaves that were overhanging has been cleaned up by the city of Akron. They hired someone to power wash the wall, which it looked great. Then they had the community come out and prime the wall, and now the artist has been doing like the template of it. I drove by Monday and freaked out because I saw all this yellow stuff, and I'm like, I know someone, but no one graffiti. As I drove down, I started seeing like letters being placed. So looks like they're beginning to do the work, and looks like it might be done by this weekend or next. So I'll provide updated pictures to the commission so that you guys can see the finished product once it's completed.
That's great. Good. Making progress. I love that. So, all right. One of our topics near and dear to our hearts, the Akron Public Art Commission logo and colors, and we need to vote on this. So let's make Eric proud and get this thing put to bed, right? So Summer, do you want to share what we're voting on here? Can you share your screen for me, please?
Yeah, I have to pull it off. I'm sorry. Can you guys all see it?
I can see it, Summer.
Okay,
Yep.
sorry, it looks a little different
job.
when I'm viewing someone else's screen.
So what are the choices that we're voting on?
Well, he actually finalized it from everyone's comments, and everyone's color schemes and all of that. This is what he prepared as the final report, that I sent out to everyone, you know, to comment on. So he added all the colors that majority had voted for. It was like the purples and the blues and some yellows. So it looks like it's the yellow, the purple, or like more so the yellow sticking out.
So walk us through that one more time. I mean, do we have like, is there a simplistic slide here that just sort of shows us what our, or is this the final, this is the final vote, yes or no? This is it.
The final vote, yes.
Ah,
So you're
okay.
voting on this, yeah. So when I sent it out to the commission a couple weeks ago for everyone's input, whoever responded said that they like the colors, they like the, you know,
Yep.
everything. So
Love it. So I definitely need a motion to accept this, and then we can go in, and then I need a second, then we can go into discussion.
Yeah, I'll motion to approve the color scheme in logo.
Great. Can I have a second?
This is Roberta. I'll second it.
Thank
It's
you.
beautiful.
And now let's discuss it. So Summer, can you put us back on probably the slide that has the T-shirt and the business card that has the best representation of what we're discussing?
Okay.
Okay. And we don't have to have a long discussion. Everybody's cool with this. I can't wait to get my purple T-shirt. But definitely open, because it's the process here. So if this is like absolutely no way, we need to go back to the drawing board or whatever, then let's have the discussion.
I think it's beautiful, so I'm down.
I love that word beautiful, by the way, Andy. It's one of my favorite words.
I'm also cool with it.
All right. Jessica.
I love it. I approve. I think it's
Okay.
perfect.
I just see your eye there, but okay, cool. I love it. All right. Megan, any comments?
Yeah, I think it's what we described in our emails back and forth to each other. So yeah, I don't really have any notes. I like the logo and the contrast. So I'm excited for the business cards. I think, you know, which is more boring than a t-shirt, I guess, but that's what I'm excited for. So yeah.
Do we plan on using that background on the business card? Or do we plan on like choosing a few different backgrounds based on, I think that's off the Civics Theater artwork, isn't it?
yeah,
It's lock 4.
Is that a painting or art project that y'all approved on before?
it's actually the an art piece right when you're walking into Lock 3 when you look up.
Yeah.
It's right there. This was just what Triad put together as their display.
Mhm,
So, I mean, we can utilize any pictures, I guess.
mhm.
But also to keep down costs is, do we want to do a front and back? Or do we want to just do a front? Maybe like this with everyone's name.
Yeah,
this here. I think right now we need to probably
yeah.
use the actual logo on the business card with everyone's name, just to keep the cost down.
Mhm.
So, yeah, my suggestion, and when you look at the example of Kat's business card there, is to actually put the Akron Public Art Commission logo in that space.
And we can have that switched around
Or you
instead
can,
of,
or you can do it, but, oh yeah, you can have it on, you can still have it on the back. We don't always have to put the artwork. So,
oh,
uh,
okay.
yeah, you can always have it on the back, but I think the design of the card, we could handle that at a later time. Stephanie, I wanted to see if you had any input on just the motion.
Am I off mute? I think I turned, yeah.
You are, yeah.
Yeah, the colors, we made it full circle to two colors and simple, bold, and looks good.
Great. So I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 I
I
No nays, the motion passes. Wow, I can't wait to tell Eric we got this done. This is great. And then Summer, regarding the design, when you get to like the back of it, things of that sort, I think that's a separate update just to the commission. It's not going to require a vote. We can, because you need to look at the costs and all that kind of stuff, and we'll just see how that ties into the budget, whose budget that's coming out of, because I'm not even sure where that's going to come out of, if that's out of a different bucket at the city or what have you. Does that sound good?
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, the more artsy we can be, the better, I think, but we'll just have to see what limitations. Also, with today's printing, things of that sort, a lot of that's gone down in price. And let's face it, I don't think we're going to fly through 500 of these cards in a given year. Like, hey, by the way, did you know who I am? So yeah, so all right. Good. Let's move on to the next item. Photo shoot. That's Summer again. And Summer, I'm gonna have you stop sharing your screen. Awesome, thank you.
All right. So far as the photo shoot, we did great with the days that we had. Thank you everyone for showing up. I sent everyone's photos to them. For those that did not select, I selected them for you. I made sure they looked good. I made sure you smiled. And I sent that over to the city's photographer to clean up a little bit and to send them back to me. Once he sends them back to me, we will post them on the website. Mr. Nate here will be adding them to the website. He's already added everyone's names. And if you guys want to send me just a paragraph of your bio that I can add to it, that would be great.
When do you want the bios in by, Summer?
We can get the bios in by like maybe next Wednesday or so. That next week we can wrap up.
So you don't already have those from the commissioners going through the application process?
Well, yeah, I have bios of everyone, but if you want to do like a short snippet, just something quick.
Or update your bio or whatever?
Yeah, just update it, just a paragraph would be fine, and we can attach that to your photo. One thing that I do want to ask, and I've noticed when I look at organizations and companies or commissions or boards, really we're the only board commission that has like the photos and all that stuff, which is pretty cool. Sometimes they'll have like your picture, your name, like the company you work for, or like it would say my picture, Summer Hall, Public Arts Liaison, and then it would say like City of Akron. Are you guys okay with me doing it that way for all? Just to give some representation of where you guys come from.
I know that a lot of companies have social media policies that requires to put like disclaimers for anything. Since we're like speaking publicly as like individuals, I don't know if it'd be good to like have my company's name tied to it necessarily. I'm
Okay.
not like here on behalf of my company. And if everyone else isn't here on behalf of the company, we're just here as the public. I think like on the basis of conflict of interest or other things might be best just to leave the company name out. That's my opinion. If you're gonna put a company name down, for me, if you decide otherwise, I'd prefer the University of Akron over like Burns or anyone else.
Okay,
So my suggestion, Summer, is double check with legal. Because I don't think on the other commissions of this city have I ever seen people's names. At least I can tell you on being on the Public Health Commission. For all those years, I never used my employer's name.
okay. Well, we can just keep it clean. We can keep it how we did it before. I was just looking of a new touch because, you know,
Yeah,
like
no,
when you look at other.
and is good, but yeah. Yep.
Okay, so we'll just use name and, you know, commissioner, or if you're a chair, treasurer, we'll put that under there. Okay,
The only other thing that may be of consideration, if it helps the public in understanding and feel like they're being represented, is what ward that we come from.
okay,
That's really on the side
I
of
second that. I like that a lot.
transparency for the community.
got it. Thank you.
All right. Anything else on that, Summer?
Nope, that's all.
Okay, moving right along. Let's discuss the plan and the procedure for the traffic signal boxes. So, Summer, you want to lead that conversation because you mentioned Great Streets and other neighborhoods and South Akron and things like that. What's our approach here? And I know many of you contributed thoughts and ideas. As I saw the emails coming through, all that good stuff. So how do we want to approach this?
I think that would be you guys' decision. I would just recommend if you pick an area, let's do like maybe the main streets surrounding like a neighborhood that would get the most looks, most traffic, you know, where traffic comes by. Not saying let's do like Ward 3, like all of Ward 3, all the streets. That's a lot. I think if you guys were to pick like the area like Ward 3, I would say like Vernon Odom to what is that? Industrial Parkway to maybe Superior.
Do we have
Or
a list of what was submitted of all the locations?
From the group.
Yep.
Yeah, there was some in Goodyear Heights. Sorry, I don't have all that.
That's
You
okay.
guys-
So what I suggest is we put together sort of a list of those locations for the commission to review. I
The
don't think,
journey was like Goodyear Heights. That's where it was. I think, who was it, Jessica? That you had said like certain streets. And when I tried to Google those streets, those really weren't like main streets. That was like kind of like within the neighborhood. So, you know, my thought would be if like, let's pick a neighborhood, let's pick a ward. And then I can pinpoint the main streets that intersect, that have the traffic signal boxes. I can do that count. It would be easier versus trying to count every single ward and all this, that, and the other. If you guys.
what
pick
I
a ward-
suggest again is to come up with take all the feedback from the commission. Let's put it into a spreadsheet with what those locations are, what ward they are. And then to your point, Summer, if somebody provided some general information, why don't you go ahead and provide the suggested high traffic street location? And that we know has these boxes.
Okay.
Let's do that is my thought. And then we can
There was
start.
only 2 people that really commented. So
Okay.
out of 9 people, it would be
Okay.
good for everyone to weigh in on that conversation.
Okay, so we need more feedback.
Mhm.
And so what do you say, like more feedback in the next 3 weeks before the next commission meeting?
I would say 2, because you have to give me time to then go through. 'Cause we
Perfect,
have
that's
over
fine.
386 traffic signal boxes. So I would need time to count, like review the spreadsheet that I have and pin traffic signal boxes.
I agree with the idea of compiling everything, putting in a centralized location. I remember there were comments from different areas like Middlebury and then other parts of the city like Goodyear. So just like getting everything kind of in a generalized area so we can come to some sort of a forum on the actual general location of the traffic boxes, then kind of move forward with an idea from there. But I
Would you
definitely
recommend like a
was
Google
going to
Doc
say too.
conversation?
Just a centralized like doc, either a Word doc or spreadsheet or whatever works best. So we could all come and put comments and notes in. Hopefully come back at the next meeting, but I don't think we're definitely at a place where we have a quorum at all. From what I remember from the conversation email chain, it was definitely like not a consensus. We were all just kind of saying pretty separate locations, but I think that's about as far as we got.
So can we operate with a Google Share Doc, Summer?
Yeah, we can. I know that's something what Kat used to do and send it out. to the
Let's do
group.
that. Let's get you some more information by September 27th. And let's, if the rest of the commissioners here, myself included, could be more specific. I didn't even provide information, but I can definitely do so. And then I think going off the agenda before we even get to what companies to use, I think we need to have some sort of budget or understanding of what this is, because whether it's 5 boxes, 10 boxes, 500 boxes, whatever it is, those numbers are all different. And I think that's what's going to actually guide our decision of the locations. And then that will also guide our decision on which companies to use, because we would have to send out, I think, a request for proposal.
I would come on that too, depending on where the fundings come from, the actual overall budget, whether that's coming from our funding or whether it's being paid for by the city or some other like grant or initiative. Then that would kind of fall also into allocations of like money and timing and forecasting on like our individual money as well. That way, when we're going to look at the budget, we can kind of create a budget that makes sense instead of just coming up with option 5, 10, 15. We can just give one budget proposal that makes sense, that fits within what we already agreed upon based off of the individual like allocations within our overall funds that are available, instead of just kind of shooting around different price points without context, I guess.
Yeah, so let's determine how much money I think if I'm hearing you correctly, Andy, let's determine how much money we're willing to spend on this project this fiscal year. And then that's how much money we have. And then from there, we'll see how far we can take that money based on the companies we engage with.
Right, get like the budget constraint, and then get the RP.
Okay.
And the money will be coming from your fund.
Yep.
So yeah, the money will come from the Public Arts Commission fund.
All right.
Okay.
So does that move us into the next item, the budget proposal?
One quick question, because we kind of were all over the place with, just thoughts and ideas where art could be. Could we maybe discuss what wards you think would need it the most? Where you would like to see traffic signal box, who needs more, like improvement in their neighborhood? If we can just have that quick conversation.
Middlebury's Ward 6, right? I think Middlebury deserves a little bit. There's definitely a lot of traffic going through there on the main roads. People coming right into downtown Akron, right towards the art museum, right past music. That side of the city. That's my input.
So Middlebury is not Ward 6. Middlebury is cut in half between Ward 10 and Ward 5.
Okay.
Ward 6 is like Ellet area.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was close enough or not for it to be the same ward. Checks out.
But so Ward 10 is actually pretty spread out. It actually takes a little bit of North Hill now because so never mind.
You can finish talking.
I was just gonna say, so because of the census, Ward 10 actually takes a little bit of North Hill now. So like Ward 10 spreads out a pretty good amount of neighborhoods. So obviously it has Goodyear Heights, it has Middlebury, it has a little bit of North Hill, it has East Akron. So I do believe that like Ward 10 is like a really good candidate for some of the signal boxes, just because it like does have a lot of neighborhood representation.
I second what Megan's saying. This actually area of East Market that's within Ward 10 was the area that I was thinking of as well.
I agree. I would also say that we may want to consider, so the other thing to look at this too is it Ward 9? Is that Summit Lake?
And Kenmore.
I would consider that, if I've got it correctly. Well, I'm not seeing it. I would consider that as well, just due to, yeah, that's Summit Lake. A lot of positive momentum, what we saw on the front page of the paper today. So if we can contribute to the positive momentum that's happening over at Summit Lake and the Akron Civic Commons, I think that has a compounding effect. So I think that's good too.
Did you say Ward 9?
I think that's Ward 9, right?
Summit Lake is Ward 3.
Is Ward 3?
Ward 9 is Kenmore.
Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yeah,
So-
Ward 9 is Kenmore that bumps into 3. So that's kind of split also.
Yeah, so it could be Ward 3/Ward 9. But Kenmore Boulevard is there in Ward 3, so that would be great too.
And I'm thinking of Ward 4, because when I went around, I saw a lot of graffiti on the boxes and just something to cover up the cuss words or the things that aren't appropriate.
Is that again, you said 4?
Yes, West Akron.
I know Highland Square got some nice ones too, but they are covered with a lot of like advertisement. So I was thinking like that'd be nice if we could cover that up, but then I also could see people covering that up too, like covering up the art, for the advertisement or for graffiti and things like that. So it would be
Jessica, they're gonna slap some stickers on it immediately.
Yeah, because you know what I'm talking about, those two right there. There's one by the library, then there's one like right across from Mustard Seed, and there was some really great locations, but they are all covered up with like stickers and stuff like that. And I was like, that'd be good to cover up, but I'm like, but then they will come back and cover it back up. So yeah.
And I think it was 2 areas that I did counts for you guys. And now I think, Jessica, that was one where I took it from Twin Oaks all the way down to Aqueduct. And then it was another one, I did another count. And I was just like, okay, too many counts right now. We need to get this squared away.
So Summer, to give you the top 3 to begin with, because otherwise we're just going to start to list all these in order that I don't know we need to do.
Yeah, I was going to say that I would like to advocate for Ward 2, but that's probably no surprise. But I think North Hill has some momentum building with public art, and
They just did that North Hill mural this past
yeah,
week.
and the robots.
Amazing.
So I think there's definitely momentum building, and it could also use more love up here.
I agree with the North Hill, Middlebury, or Kenmore areas, and Summit Lake included, I guess, Summit Lake and Kenmore.
Yeah, I agree with Summit Lake and Middlebury. Absolutely.
Okay. So we have 4 right now. So we have Middlebury, Ward 10, we have Ward 4, we have Ward 2, and like the Summit Lake area and parts of Kenmore. So can we maybe vote for 2?
We don't need, honestly, Summer, we don't need a vote at this stage.
Okay.
And the reason being is we're still in the data collection. So I put them on the spreadsheet. I put this feedback onto the spreadsheet, and then we would start to look more at more specifics. It's when we wanted, I think we could take it more to a vote when we've got more information of we're making decisions and spending money and all that good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, right now we're doing some research on this project.
I agree. If there's something happening in one area that makes it a better candidate, I would want to know that ahead of time and hear what everyone has to say about it.
Okay,
And
so I will focus on these 4 wards and give you guys the feedback.
put it in a Google Sheet so that we can make comments or what have you. Let's do that.
Now don't come to me when it's all done saying, let's do Ward 1 and 6 and no.
We'll do that. We're a team.
No. All righty.
All right. So can we move on to the budget I think Andy had sent some emails over or an email over regarding a budget proposal, if that's what you're referring to, Summer, right?
Yes.
Good job,
I just
Andy.
want I also want to clarify on the budget proposal. That's just a split, like an allocation, but there's no actual timeline set on those funds. The other thing we would need to determine after we look at a different allocation for the funds, like percentages, is actually, projecting that out. So like, what are we how many are we going to do each year? And what's the total dollar amount per project that we're going to do? So let's say there's 20K towards murals. Are we going to try to do 1 a year, 2 a year? Is that going to be 5K, 2K, 3K? Those kinds of things. So looking at how long the funds are going to last out, how much we're giving for a total, project, and then what the timeline is on that, like how many projects per year, so that those allocations are actually like spread out over time. So we're like sustaining the funds for a little bit, but still getting projects, kind of through the pipeline if we can.
So
I'm going to share.
Summer, do you want to throw up on the screen what? Thank you.
You're welcome. I was. What is it?
So let's start with what Andy just mentioned. Let's start with what's our fiscal year? When
Usually, well, with the city, I know they start doing budgets in October.
so I think they're January 1, right?
So
They're on a calendar year,
yes,
January.
but we sometimes don't really approve everything until March, April.
Oh,
So it just depends on how the budget flows. But I
So
think we're January to December.
so my first question is, are we allowed to have our own separate or self-defined fiscal year?
You can, yes, because you're running off of your own funds.
Okay.
So what would you guys say the fiscal year would be?
So I think it's all going to depend on my thought, just to keep everybody's mind clean or organized, is start our fiscal year January 1. Because these budget conversations historically will take more time, things of that sort. That doesn't mean we can't spend money before then. It just says our budget, which is separate than our, let's say our budget is separate than our cash, is we can separate the two. So in other
Right,
words,
just to kind of anchor it so that if we have projects per year, we're anchoring it somewhere. So we're not just, just doing so many within some certain time frame.
and that just gets everybody into sort of a mindset.
I agree with the January 1. As an ex-auditor, I did not like when companies did an offset financial year. So I'm always good with January.
So in that regards, we should take a vote for setting our fiscal year date so that it's in the minutes, all that good stuff. So if I could just call for a motion to set January 1st as our fiscal date.
I would motion to set our fiscal year from January 1st to December 31st, yearly.
Great, thank you. And a second?
This is Megan, and I second.
Thank you, Megan. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Hi.
Aye.
Nay? Good, so we've got that set. Good with that, Summer?
Yeah.
Yep, if that becomes a hurdle internally with the city for whatever reason, then we can address that at the time. But to your point, I think we should be good. Okay, so then the budget itself. So we have. Okay. So we have 48,000 that we've anticipated to already spend on the contract with Mac Love. And we're hoping to have that remedied here sooner than later. So we have $52,000 available. Now, remind me, Summer, remind all of us, that 100,000, was that the original 100,000 seed money? That
was a $100,000 donation.
The donation, and does it have to be spent all in the next fiscal year?
It does not.
It does not. Okay.
Right.
Sure, this
But
52,000 is gone. Then do we have any other funding sources besides the TIF?
not at this time, but I would recommend to utilize the donation because there could be more potential discussion about funds for the Public Arts Commission
From the same donor?
or others. I don't want to say that, I don't want to say from the same donor because I can't, comment on that part. But
But it'd be nice if they saw that we did something.
exactly.
Summer, if I'm getting it right, you kind of want to be able to have data to put together for something not like literally an annual report, because we're not like a funding body or a nonprofit, but something to show donors the projects that are being done by the Public Art Commission or funded by the Public Art Commission. Having them use the Public Art Commission as a public channel through which to, help facilitate public art being created in the city. So you want something kind of along the lines of an annual report or something similar. So if we like project out projects or actually get things done, you have like experience and stuff to show them, to show that their funds are being given towards worthy cause.
Yes.
But what we don't know yet is I don't know how much of that kind of fundraising we should be doing, are to do, or any of that. Because that's never been part of the mission, to my understanding, without going back and looking of the commission. This
what I
this
was
has been
thinking
an
from-
anomaly how we received this 100,000.
Yeah, what I was getting from that was, kind of a report to report out
Sure,
so
absolutely.
that when, I am able to reach out to people and ask for funding for the commission, or even go to the city to
Right.
say, hey, these are projected projects that we have done, and this is what we want to do, but we need funding. How can we get funding? So if that's grants
makes sense.
coming out, it's easier for me to apply for a grant.
Yep.
And I have that information versus going in there blindly and then not getting the grant.
Sure.
So
Okay.
we shouldn't see it just as towards donors or people like that or charitable donations, but also towards the city or anyone who plans to help fund public art.
Yes, because with some of the grants that have come out that I look at and say, oh wow, we can take advantage of this. But then I have to try to figure out an idea for us to do for me to do the grant, because sometimes the deadlines are right around the corner and I have to try to figure out something. It's like we applied for one grant that I thought, like the Portage Path, going down Portage Path Hill, that brick wall going all the way down to San Run,
Mhm.
as a way to have people kind of slow down a little bit, like, going up and down the hill, because there's people, riding bikes and so forth. So I don't want to be the one to think of all the projects and then bring it to you guys and you're like, oh, that's not a good idea, but we got the grant money, so we got to do it, so.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. That makes sense. Appreciate the clarity for all of us. That's great. All right, so this $52,000 budget is what we are anticipating having. So Andy, do you want to walk us through your thought process here?
Yeah, let me get it open. I made some of the allocations just kind of with an assumption of a certain timeline on forecasting. So for example, you're going to look at the top and say conservation of existing public art, the restoration and maintenance and documentation and research. I don't know exactly how this would get spent if we were hiring a professional versus otherwise. Also, I know the city and individual artists, if an artist makes a, public land request, they also during that land request have to talk about or discuss how they're going to maintain the art based on whether it's short or long term. And then there's also like other discussions about how the city's going to maintain things. So it's kind of questionable whether restoration and maintenance would be something ever like covered. But there might be circumstances where something's like not covered and it's like a use of funds that we have just to get something done. I think restoration makes more sense than maintenance for the specific part of the fund. There might be art pieces that we want to restore, have somebody come and like repaint over, or actually like restore. I think that'd be a better use than specifically maintenance. I think maintenance kind of falls under the original artists based off that like request for public land or the city. And then there's the documentation and research, which is more like what
Andy?
Mac Love is doing. But
Yeah, let me add a little clarity to the first part there, because I think you're going you're
Yeah.
going down the right path. So the restoration and maintenance could actually be conservation in general.
Right, right.
And yes, you're right that some of the proposals that we've been approving has that responsibility or that onus on the artist. But the way I was looking at this was our existing public art or even public art that we don't even know exists yet until Mac and Elise Love informs us that those dollars could be spent on that type of conservation of existing public art that we've yet to, in other words, it was already here, we're inheriting it. Including that could also be potential removal because it's time for that piece to be removed. So we might want to change that to conservation and removal because we know that there are areas of public art in the city that mean that probably it's time to be painted over or it's time to be removed or whatever. I will tell you that $8,000, it will depend on the piece, but I'd be surprised if we could get 3 pieces done. Unless it's truly removal, which will be the most inexpensive way. So it depends. We just don't know what we know. We just don't know what we don't know is what I should say. So does that make a little bit more sense?
Yeah, also backup funds is what I was thinking. If there's like a piece that needs restoration or there's a specific artist who's not able to be responsible for specific maintenance when they had currently said that they would be able to, it could be like a backup fund for some artist or for some other artist to step in to help with conservation or restoration as well. I know that there's not a lot of funds there, but also giving more funds towards new projects as well. With the idea that there'd be like more new things getting created and the city would be able to help some with removals and maintenance as well. I agree with that.
So I think conservation, we could just keep it as conservation and maintenance could include removal.
Yeah.
I will say one thing. Part of the reason why the Public Arts Commission was created so that the city can kind of move away from ownership of these projects, right? So if someone does a mural, they're responsible for, making sure that the mural goes up. If it gets damaged, they're responsible to clean it up. And then when it's time to remove, hopefully that they can remove the art also. The city doesn't really have the capacity anymore to try to manage all the art that's out there. So, far as restoring some stuff that's already was pre-existing before the Public Arts Commission started, we will have to work on that. But going forward, since, we started approving projects in 2021, those artists are responsible for their own art piece. That's why we asked for a maintenance plan, the insurance and all of that stuff, so that they can be responsible for it, not the city.
Right. And I didn't put a ton of budget into this, and I know the city might not do whatever we just ask them to, which is why I also brought up that they actually go through that as a part of the public land proposal as well, which we'd usually see by the time something gets to us, right? They go through the public land proposal and then it gets to the Public Art Commission. Hopefully we'd have data on their maintenance plans. And those are just things that we as a commission would need to look at while approving public art coming through. And we make a motion that they actually have a good maintenance plan set up. They're going to maintain it or be able to put things in or take it out. That's not going to turn into like a defunct project. That's going to be like a money sink for like maintenance or removals or something. That's my opinion.
Sometimes we have those opportunities where the city, like they did with the over in the building where they just took care of it for us and didn't come out of our budget. So okay.
We'll do a lot of different like in kind when it's like that in City Hall, or if it's cutting back trees and things like that. The city will do that.
Great. Andy, do you want to move forward with the explanation on documentation and research?
Yes, documentation and research would just be kind of like a library science-esque, if you're familiar, allocation of money. If we ever need like specialty help, if we ever need to like get research, if we ever need to like purchase research, if we ever need to hire somebody to do something else. A lot of this, I made this fund lower because a lot of this essentially bucket, I considered going into that Mac Love project. We're getting the public art database. This could be a fund that after the creation of the database, whenever that contract ends out or however that fund's getting spent in terms of like maintenance, that this goes into paying somebody very short amount of time to like upload records or do some sort of maintenance, or if we're doing like small graphic for the GIS website or something, something to do with basically maintenance of that database. because the main documentation and research that we have is going to be that public art database, the GIS application.
Does that make sense, everyone? Awesome. I think that amount is fine. All right. And then we have new public art projects. So this is kind of where the traffic boxes come into, right?
I would think so. I think that would kind of fall under either the community collaborative art or the murals and street art, depending on how you would want to classify that. So I kind of split out. I give 38K of the 52K to that, like the largest bucket of funding, just because putting out like public art projects I assumed that a lot of the intent of spending this grant money was to actually get art visible and out there into the city as well. If that was the intent of the money from the donor. I don't know the exact specifics behind that, but I'm just going based off what Summer told me in the discussions in the commission. So I split it into murals and street art, sculptures and installations, performance art or temporary installations, and community collaborative art. So murals and street art would be murals and street art. We all know what murals and street art are because that's most of the stuff coming through, I think, is with murals. Sculptures and installations, there's a lot of sculptures and installations currently going up throughout the city of Akron, obviously, just like physically installed, like non-painted, sculptures, metal, wood, other structures. Performance art or temporary installations would be like performance art, so dancing, thespian type work, small shows, music, and then also temporary art installations, things that aren't meant to stay up for long periods of time. The community collaborative art, which would be things where the community helps come in to collaborate. I made that bucket lower, as well as performance art or temporary art installations, assuming these would be small one-time things. The community collaborative art, I'm assuming, would be just a lot of coordination or event coordination, but a lot of people in the community coming together to do things, to be materials for a project, and then the labor would largely be hopefully provided by the community. Performance art or temporary installations, hopefully not, you're not digging, you're not installing a structure, you're not, cleaning a wall or doing any sort of maintenance on a physical structure. So that's made this bucket slightly lower. Sculptures and installations, I figured there would just be less proposals for sculptures and installations, to be completely honest. And so I gave that half the amount of murals and street art, which I gave 20K. And I kind of made the assumption that over 2 to 3 years, for murals and street art, for example, if we want to do 1 to 2 a year, we could give 5K out, which is a decent sized sum out per mural. And then we could do 1 to 2 per year, and that could extend it out for 2 to 4 years for murals. And then for sculptures and installations, similar thing, like 5K, and we do 1 per year. That would extend that out 2 years. Performance art or temporary installations, community collaborative art, maybe open buckets on a per project basis, and it just depends on what we're doing.
So, Summer, do we have the true definition of public art? Do we have a definition of public art that as it relates to the Public Art Commission? Because I don't believe thespian or dance was part of that.
I think you guys did use, when we had that conversation, thespian was the
Was it?
word that you guys
You remember, Katie?
selected. Katie, Eric, you guys.
I don't think it is supposed to be included. Like, my understanding was it's only visual art.
That's what I thought too.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we had a conversation of, what would we call it? So, yeah, I mean, you guys can feel free to discuss that.
Yeah, that could definitely be something that's just then temporary art installations, or part of the funds moved into a different bucket.
I would be careful about, I wouldn't even call out temporary art installations, just have everything be an art installation, whether it's 3 months, 3 years, what have you. So that everybody's following the same process, is my suggestion. And then the other thing that comes to my mind with this is, which is fine. Budgets can be modified. So I do like the way how you're dividing it, but I'm not sure. We just want to make sure we don't lock ourselves into a box. So in other words, if there's a mural or street art that comes up and it's $30,000, we know if we want to pull 10,000 from sculptures, we can do that.
I think if we're not making it restricted cash, like,
Yeah,
and it's not really a nonprofit anyways, so we're not struck by the rules of restricted cash or donor rules.
We can move things around.
Yeah.
But if it really helps in how we're thinking of what we want to do, the challenge we have right now is that we don't have an overall, what I call like strategic plan. That something like this would then support. So we kind of have a little bit of the cart before the horse, but I like your approach, Andy, very much so.
Yeah, I was thinking of about a 2-year, honestly, 2-year longevity, and you could extend some of it out longer than that. But I was thinking on a 2-year, just so you're giving a actual okay amount of money out per project if we're going to fund individual projects. So,
Yeah,
um,
and I would just throw in one other consideration, which is, and I know Summer's really tried to push this forward with us, just ongoing. I think we have a membership. What do we have a membership in? What organization is it in? Not the
The
American Public Art something, but
American of the Arts,
oh yeah.
like
And
two
us
more that
taking
I'm trying-
advantage. What's that?
So there's 2 more that I'm trying to look into.
Yeah, so we need something either for those that also have educational opportunities for the commissioners, right?
Could definitely be something where like we're taking like the performance art or temporary art installations bucket and just allocating all of that towards like an education bucket or similar administrative education, something
Mhm.
like that. I'd be down for that. Obviously, open discussion from anyone else who wants to talk about it. Stephanie, Jessica, Larissa.
Anything else we're missing from the rest of you? Katie, I know we've been through this a few times.
Well, there are also 2 other buckets, so, public engagement on unveiling events. It was 3,000 and then miscellaneous and contingencies 2,000. So there's an extra 5K there at the very bottom, by the way. One for events and one for like miscellaneous and contingency stuff.
Sorry, I didn't see that. Okay,
So I didn't move down.
I forgot to say that.
it's all right.
Andy, this looks great. It's a lot of work put into it, and we really appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, no worries. I said I would do it. So I got to do it right.
Yeah, miscellaneous and contingency. So that strikes me as something that probably needs a little more, right? Because unforeseen conditions and things like that come up on every project. So again, this gives us a guideline to go down. A lot of energy, a lot of effort put into this, Andy. So thank you very much. But yeah, we can move numbers around as I can see it.
For sure. One big thing that's based off what John said, be taking like some of the money from that 38K bucket for new public art projects and putting that into education administrative bucket for the commission as well. I think would be good. I definitely, the miscellaneous and contingency is kind of a hard one to nail down because it's kind of a question of risk, and we're not doing like a whole risk analysis on this, so it's kind of hard to. Well, I'm also in engineering, so I used to literally look at factors of safety and do risk analyses all the time. I don't know what the risk is in some of these projects, so.
Yeah, that's a daily thing. So no worries. This is great. This is great. I apologize for being a little late. So
Eric, I don't know exactly when you joined us, but I'll turn it back over
the
to you.
whole time, John, I was here the whole time.
Oh, well then. So we did vote and approve that the budget time period, the fiscal year for the budget would be January 1 through December 31st.
Okay.
So just want to let you know we needed to like put a stake in the ground for that.
Yep.
And then we just went into discussing all of this, and then Summer provided a great explanation on why this is important to show that the commission is spending some dollars that were given to us from the anonymous donor, but also showing the work that we're doing so that she can show that to the city and potential other grant funders, which totally makes sense. So what we just did was walk through some of these categories that Andy put together, which is awesome. And we just I think we confirmed that performing art, thespian, or what have you is not in our purview.
Yeah, I thought we discussed that as far as having commissioners on this board under those.
Oh, that came from that experience background?
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Yep. You're right, we did. So.
All right, great.
And the only other caveat that I threw into this is that we can go ahead and make, have these changes made. And got a couple different choices is we could bring this up at the next commission meeting for final approval of the budget, which would be October's.
I
Um,
agree. We could put on a Google Word doc so everyone can comment similar to the traffic boxes and get comments in, to make sure everyone has a chance to give feedback for all the different parts.
yep, that would be great.
I'd also love to see it as like a clean spreadsheet.
Yeah. Like true setup and budget format.
Yeah.
Yeah, and getting something together. I had a spreadsheet for it. I thought nobody would want to look at a spreadsheet. I'm in accounting and people hate looking at spreadsheets
I
when I
love
send them spreadsheets. So I'm glad you love spreadsheets. I love spreadsheets too. So
Spreadsheets with descriptions attached to them, but yes, absolutely.
And then
This would be just a simple copy paste for you, Andy, but thank you.
And then Eric,
Questions?
as we're trying to work on the traffic boxes and the next steps, if there's it doesn't rule out that we don't have an option of spending some money before January 1st. It would just take board action to do that. In which case we would revise the budget to reflect.
Yeah, we need to start spending.
Right. So my point is we're going off of a $38,000 or $52,000 budget.
I think the other thing too is separating the allocations for the budget from the forecasting. So like there's the budget, like the total allocations of the money available, like as a percentage maybe. And then there's also when are we going to spend it? So if the fiscal year starts January 1st, we could approve to do so many projects as a goal with it still being flexible in the buckets, like you said, before January 1st. We could consider this like a fiscal year as well that we're already in as well.
Yeah.
So we could approve projects before the end of the year as well. If we determine how many per year, that could tell us if we want to get something done, what we do by the end of the year as well. So I think there's the first is just looking at the allocations and then looking at the forecasting. But I did do the allocations kind of based again, like a 2-year longevity of the funds.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't put a number next to the how many projects or what we're doing, because that's going to vary on price, right? Or what the cost is. So now we're going down the rabbit hole with that, but fiscal year January 1st, that's great. We can start approving the following year in December, right? So those are things we can look at. But yeah, I agree. We can get this out on the Google and have everyone take some time to look through it and then discuss and approve it in the next meeting. That's a great idea, John.
So one other thing to add to this, I believe this is the case, Summer, but correct me if I'm wrong. But just looking at the next agenda item, who's paying for the website updates for us?
So I have this lovely gentleman right behind me. You guys hear me?
He's paying for it?
Yeah, I can hear you.
He's not paying for it. He has, if you look at the website now, we've kind of done a little bit of updates, made it more like with the colors and things like that. So Andy will be updating our website.
So we don't need a budget item, a budget line item for that.
No, because right now our website is housed out of Squarespace.
Yep.
And the city has been paying for that subscription yearly. I can't say how much longer they'll, do that, but right now, we just did the payment in June. So it's from June to June. But this website has always been something that we have done in-house.
Great. Okay, so I think we're good to go here. I'm gonna close with this item, Eric, if that's okay with you. And I actually need to depart. So it's been fun. Good to see everyone, but we still have a quorum because Eric's on, I'm out. Does that
Sounds
seem
good. I'm good with that.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
John.
Thank you, John.
All right, talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Appreciate you. See ya.
So we pretty much, not to jump the gun or anything. So that was number 8, correct?
Yes, discussion of budget proposal.
Number 9, we pretty much rolling with that, right? We could kind of cross that off. I mean, we're doing the rebranding as we go, right? Our new commissioners, the logos, what's next, the business cards, correct? We got photos. we're going to start spending some of this money. So that's kind of what we need to do. Number 11 is off the table at the moment. Any new business anyone wants to discuss? Everyone looks so excited and joyful. I don't see any smiles. You guys are having a week like I am, I see, but upcoming events, summer, what we got?
Goodness. I'll let you guys go first. Anyone have any? Can I stop sharing the screen? Are you guys all good with this? Okay, perfect. You guys go first. Mhm.
I have a public event to share. There is a 12-foot puppet named Little Amal coming to Akron on September 23rd. She's a 10-year-old Syrian refugee girl, and she has traveled to 13 different countries, sharing her message of hope, hoping that people don't forget about refugee children in the world. So she's stopping in Akron, which is really exciting because she's now touring the US. So she'll be here September 23rd. We'll be walking from the intersection of Talmadge Avenue to North Main Street, up North Main to People's Park. So it's an open public event. It's pretty much like a living art installation. So you all are invited to come. It's also a partnership with the city of Akron. So along with some organizations.
Can you put that in a email invite so it's on people's calendars?
Absolutely.
Okay.
If you could send it to me, Katie, and then I
Yes.
can switch it to everyone's calendar.
Okay, I will.
For the full information. Yeah, it was neat because I actually sat in with the conversation of one of the people that actually put it on. We talked about this maybe earlier this year. So just trying to figure out a spot to bring her. So I'm excited that it's in North Hill. Anyone else? I will let you know the Akron Black Artists Guild, they're having an outlined in Black exhibition, October 14th. They have an open reception. And if you guys want to attend, you would have to get your tickets. I think it's free, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it's free. And you just reserve your spot. And it's on at Beers Library on the University of Akron's campus.
Okay. Anyone else? Every week I would read something about Jessica has done this. Her work is here. Her work is there. Like, this is amazing. So thank you, Jessica, for even spending time with us. Truly appreciate it. Katie runs the north side and all of that. And we got some studs on here. I'm loving this. So appreciate everyone. Any reading of public comments, Summer?
No public comments at this time.
I think I have one thing. I think if I'm correct, the mural on the Glendale mural is supposed to be, publicized at Wonderfest, which is on also September 23rd. I think that's when it's supposed to be done, unveiled. I think.
In 10 days? Oof.
Yeah. So that's why they're kind of getting to it. So I think that's the plan. But so yeah, that's 12 p.m. on September 23rd at Wonderfest, which is a West Hill neighborhood organization, WHNO event. So yeah,
Eric, you weren't on the call at the time, but I drive by there weekly, and right now, Monday, I thought somebody was vandalizing graffiti and all that stuff, but it wasn't. The actual artist has started to outline the words, and when I went back today, they actually have some of the words already posted and the colors, so it looks really good.
What about the landscaping though? I thought when I saw it, It was raining though. I thought when I saw it, it wasn't quite.
So
I'm
about 2 weeks ago, they had someone power wash. And then it was like on a Saturday morning. And then that Sunday it dried and they had a team of people go out and prime the wall, and do some patches. Um, and then this week they had an artist or the artist that's doing the work. Sorry, they're actually painting it. And if it comes to my email in time, I can share it with you what it looks like.
So lawn is cut, the weeds are pulled
Oh,
out.
yeah, all the weeds are you can see the sidewalk. Like the public service department, our service department with the city of Akron did a heck of a job. You can see the sidewalk, like you wouldn't even thought there was a whole bunch of grass coming up. They cut back the weeds.
And they're going to maintain that?
Well, the city maintains the high grass and all of that stuff. So yes, the city will maintain keeping it cut and the overhang. Yes.
Okay.
Here, I'll show you guys. Let me pull it up.
Andy, I must have missed this. Are you in like up in the mountains or something? What's up with the ski jacket and all of that?
I was
I was
50
thinking the
degrees out
same
this
thing.
morning. It's air conditioned. What are you talking about?
Man, dude.
Cold.
Are you in the United States right now or what?
I'm at Akron. See the little zip behind me? The kangaroo.
That could have been Colorado. Who knows?
I get cold
thinking the
easily.
same thing. I wasn't kidding.
Listen, I used to weigh 360 pounds and I lost over like 190 pounds at some point. Ever since I lost all my weight, I'm cold everywhere I go, all the time. I always
Wow.
have like a sweater, a jacket on. I'm like freezing every time I go anywhere. So
It came from, this is a pretty big deal. You see how the sidewalk is cleaned up, the overhang has been pushed back. So yeah.
Okay. See, yeah, this is what I saw too. So I'll hold my tongue. It just, okay.
It'll look better once it's done, but right now it looks like they're just, I'm not an artist, so I don't know the terminology that you guys use, but it looks like they're just doing a template right now.
Yeah,
And
I'm not talking about the art itself. I'm talking about the crap behind it, like, right? So
this,
yeah, and the electrical lines and all of that. So
so
okay,
we can't move the electrical lines.
not
And
moving in engineering. What you do in construction, you can tighten those things up and add different supports, but it's okay. It's okay.
yeah,
I'm just
that would probably be money. It would be a cost, maybe. I'm not sure if First Energy would fix that or not. But far as with the city, what it looked like before from the first pictures, this is a step up.
It is. It is. It is.
They were rushing to get the priming and all that stuff. The city, went in and cleared it out as quickly as possible. And, other projects got pushed back in order for them to meet their time schedule. So,
Okay, I'll just be thankful.
yes, be thankful.
But if I see it trashy in a month, I'm going to say something.
And that's fine. That's fine. You can call 311 and put a report in of what needs to be done within the city.
We got a 311 involved at this commission, and it's called Summer Hall, so we're good.
You and the rest of Akron, but it's cool. I'm here to help. I'm a public servant.
All right, I appreciate it. All right, no more time spent on that. It looks nice.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great. Okay, so our final item on the list is the October meeting will be in person on the 11th. Is everyone okay with that?
and it will be probably in council chambers, and I will send you guys out more information about the location, either there or in one of the conference rooms. Because that meeting will be public, well, we will be in person. It is public where other people can join. So we will definitely make sure we update the website with that as well as the agenda so that people can come in person. Okay.
So this will be my first one in council chambers. So that's suit and tie, right?
No, I mean, you can if you want.
Well,
But it can just be business casual, however you see fit, which you
really?
go to work in.
Okay.
But you guys it will be open to the public. So, if you want to have a certain appearance, that would be good.
Like
but I'm not
video
sure
open to the
be in a
public, right?
three-piece tie and all that formal ball gowns or anything like that.
Well, it'll be close to Halloween, so we could all wear costumes.
And you do have to go through security when you come to City Hall now. So please leave all weapons and toys and all of that jazz in your car.
Yes. Okay.
Andy, would you be able to clean up that budget? And then like from the discussion today, clean it up a little bit?
I will. I'll put in a spreadsheet. I just need to get feedback from everybody. I only heard feedback really from like John, I think, and a little bit from Eric. So I just want to see feedback from everyone. And I'll get it together. That way we're all kind of on the same page when we already come into the next meeting.
Even feedback, meaning even if it's, hey, this looks good. So everyone, he can check the box. Everyone has involvement. Everyone has their hand in it. So please, if you don't mind.
Do you need me to resend what we were looking at to you guys again?
Yeah, please.
And I'll actually send that out. I'll literally put also that in a Google spreadsheet, and I'll send that to Summer so she can disperse to people as needed after I make some initial updates based off the conversations at this meeting. So
sounds good. And then also, Eric, you were not on the call when we talked about the traffic signal boxes. There's four wards that majority spoke about, which would be Middlebury, Ward 10, Ward 4, Ward 2, and Ward 3, which is Summit Lake, and maybe parts of Kenmore. And I'll have to try to figure out how to break that down, but kind of a count of how many traffic signal boxes are in those areas. And then you guys can discuss that, and then you can vote. Oh, well, you can discuss it and then kind of vote on which ward or which area you would like to do traffic signal boxes. And then followed after that, we will do an RFP to push it out to some companies to get their pricing as far as how much it would cost to do the prints and also to make the wraps, including to do the wrapping of the traffic signal boxes.
Can you include 9 in there?
we also kind of discussed looking at the budget and how much money we would want to spend before or like up to the start of the next fiscal year that we just approved. So like based off the budget allocations and things like that, what bucket would be pulled from or how we're going to fund it. So basically tying that into the budget process as well.
Yeah.
So when you say Ward 9, what are you thinking about in Ward 9?
We have a lot of traffic out here near Summit Mall and whatnot. So
That's Ward 8.
8. No, 9. 9. You sure?
Summit Mall is Fairlawn, so that doesn't count.
No, I'm Akron. I'm 9, where I live,
You're
right
8.
behind there.
You live in the same ward. You're 8.
Girl, look, don't tell me where I work.
Is Shamus Malik your council person?
Just hold on. Why are you putting me on blast on public?
Thank you, Megan. I wish I could have heard what you had to say. You're muted.
Megan, what you doing, Megan? What you doing?
Unmute, Megan, please. We need all comments.
We had the map up here, Eric. We were
Where?
looking at this map.
Hold on, show me this map. Hold on.
the map. Hold on, let me. Eric, shall I type your address in?
Schrodinger's ward.
Where's the map?
Yeah, go ahead. Let me prove this wrong so I can get in here. Where is it at?
Thank you,
Bye,
Katie.
Katie.
Everybody laughing at Eric. That's fine. I'm waiting to see this map. Waiting to see this map. Megan, you got the map up? Who's putting the map up? Megan, you're on mute.
For October's meeting real quick, it won't be past 5:30, correct? It will still be that window of time, no later?
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have Andy, not Andy. God.
No, I got it up.
This is him right here. What ward is it?
Oh man.
Thank you very much.
Ah,
But it's right here, right? This
jeez
is 8.
almighty. That is terrible.
Thank you. Ward 9 is Kenmore.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, so you know what? Ooh.
Yeah, that's you, like right over in this area. Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Did I put 9 on the application?
So you
Oh,
put 8. You put 8.
I did.
We talked about this. Yes, we talked about this.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Why I got 9 in my head? I was wrong, everyone. I admit I'm wrong. Appreciate it. Summer, I don't want to hear another thing. I just don't want to hear another thing. All right. So I think that is it, everyone. To be honest, do we have any questions or concerns?
We
If
went
not-
over earlier in the meeting, we went over the business cards, right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm up to date on that.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yep. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. That's awesome. So y'all don't even need me. We're good to go.
Well, then I'd motion to adjourn the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Did you just motion, Andy? I second the motion.
Yeah.
Andy just cut me off.
I'm ready. I have to go teach my class. My students are gonna be mad at me. They always ask me about the quiz right before class, so they're probably like, "Oh, what are you gonna test me on?" They always like quiz me before my quiz. So there are
All
a few students passed by and they gave me a glare. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna fail me today." I'm like, "No, I'm fair. I'm fair." So let's see.
All right. Well, the meeting is.
It's
All right, see y'all later. Have a good one.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
person next month.